Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Dr. Kyle Dawson. Good to see you, my brother.
Good to be here as usual, Cromwell.
Yes, president of Age Level South Community College, for those who may not know, the one or two of you that may not. Yeah, a lot going on at HLSCC, man. It's like HLSCC is really coming into its own, growing up a 25-year-old adult.
Yes.
That's something.
Yes. And even as you said, in terms of a lot going on, I just came tonight from the Lady Smith Black Mambazo concert. I got as much of it as I could, and it was an awesome performance, as expected. A group from South Africa started in the 60s. Joseph Shambhabala and some of his sons are now taking it over. And I think the auditorium full are getting their money worth tonight.
Yeah, and I was talking earlier with Chan Rose about them talking about some of their struggles, their apartheid struggles, and what that must have been like. Because I know I was in the States at the height of the movement to abolish apartheid, and it was quite a struggle, and the whole ANC, African National Congress, and the fighting in the jungles and the war of liberation.
Yeah.
It was a period of history that we need to learn some more about.
Exactly. I mean, for me, if I were to say that the first time I was, if you will, kind of in a small committee on a national stage was back in 1983-84 when we had a debate, high school debate, and the topic was apartheid. And it certainly opened my eyes then and realized that how far you are in the world, you're a part of the world, and it's not sufficient for you to ignore issues that you may think that may not be affecting you at that present moment.
Yeah.
We all have our parts to play in this world.
And a lot of help came from the outside world, the global community,
Yes.
in terms of abolishing
Yes.
apartheid. A lot of help came
Yes,
from
and a lot of
all over the
songs. I
world.
mean, when you think on all the songs that the artists produce related to apartheid, we could go on and on about all those songs that were so critical to the movement.
Absolutely. The celebration of the 25th anniversary is well underway. We have, of course, Lady Smith, Black Mambazo is here for 2 days, and we have an upcoming gala event that is going to be part of that celebration, and also honoring a stalwart contributor to education in the territory in the person of Dr. Charles Wheatley. Talk to us about that event and how important it is for us to recognize those persons who have given their lives to us, and especially in education, which is next to health in importance to our development.
Yes. So certainly, as you said, as a part of the college's anniversary celebrations, but also too, as we highlight in 2015 our achievement of accreditation with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, we are in fact having a gala dinner, fundraising dinner, and to mark those two events, as well as to celebrate one of our greatest contributors, Dr. Charles Wheatley. This event will be held on March 7th. And in
Which
a
happens
sense,
to be the
ironically,
you're getting ready to say
ironically,
that.
it's on Hlscc Stout's birthday, the celebration for that. And I will tell you, Carmel, that initially we were not necessarily aiming for that day, but fate would have it that it be that day. And why would it not be that day? That's the day that this territory, for the first time, went to the point of actually creating a holiday to say, one of ours is worthy of recognition.
Yes.
And we have there's a number of events. I know at 8 o'clock that morning there is a if you will, a Singspiration type event at the Rotong Methodist Church, where a lot of Mr. Stout's favorite songs and hymns will be sung by various choirs. And then we'll have the wreath laying ceremony at his gravesite down at West End right after that. And then later on in that day, I think it fitting that one of Mr. Stout's greatest contribution was his vision for education. And that vision for education came out, in my view, primarily the work that he's done in establishing a comprehensive high school, as well as the Hlscc Stout Community College, which now bears his name. And I would argue strongly that there has been no single contributor to carrying out the vision of Hlscc Stout for tertiary education and perhaps education as a whole in this territory than Dr. Charles Wheatley. And I think it turns out it wasn't planned, but I think it's quite fitting that two persons who, as a community, we may not necessarily always link them together, but really, as I see it, I see Mr. Stout as a great visionary, contributions to secondary education, contribution to tertiary education, also contribution to music as well. And here's the visionary, Mr. Stout, and here's the man who gets it done,
Yes.
Charles Wheatley.
Yes.
So I'm pleased that the college is associated with that event. He, of course, served at the helm of the institution for about 12 to 14 years, I think it was, and certainly he currently serves as the chair of the college's board. So we're looking forward to a wonderful evening.
And what
that
what can we expect on that evening in terms of entertainment, food?
Well, the entertainment, we expect we will have the college's own Stingray singers, Stingray Ensemble will be performing, as well as some other selected individuals associated with the institution as well will perform. We're proud that the meal that evening will be of a very high caliber.
Yes.
It will be produced by members of what I call the Hlscc team. That is to say, individuals working at Hlscc, persons studying at Hlscc, and alumni of our culinary program at Hlscc. So,
it must be known that we have one of the most significant culinary programs at Hlscc that is talked about regionally.
Exactly. We have right in our community a number of our graduates running their own restaurants or catering operations. We have Tropical Fusion down at
award-winning chefs.
Captain of the team, Kenneth Molyneux. We have another team member, Imran Ashton at Primrose. We have Janice Adams, who does her own catering. There's a number of persons from that program who have made their mark, and in other islands as well, Anguilla, St. Thomas as well, as even far-flung places on the globe, because some of our graduates are in the East and so on. So we expect that it will be a tremendous evening of fine food and fine fellowship.
Yes. And we're going to be dancing?
And we're going to be dancing. We will be dancing. The group has already shown that they have what it takes to cautiously get on their feet. And I'm depending on Eric Christian and his team of youngsters to really top off what I expect could be a wonderful evening. An evening where the community gets an opportunity to contribute to the college. It is a fundraising dinner, and persons will get the opportunity to contribute to the college and its efforts. As a matter of fact, directly, we following on the dinner we held last year with Dr. Joel Stevens. We focus on Dr. Wheatley this time, and so he has the opportunity to determine where the funds would go that are raised, and he has said that it should go towards part to the endowment fund. Again, looking to the future and the sustainability of the college and building those resources that would help us in the future, but also to Virgin Islands Studies Institute. Again, helping us to determine who we are as a people, helping us to have the resources so that particular things can be investigated. Phenomena in our community can be investigated that helps us integrate, help us understand not just the quote-unquote historical Virgin Islanders of several generations, but the new Virgin Islander, those who have come later and have still their anchor in the home from which they came, but still very much making a contribution in our territory.
Now, we're talking about fundraising, and we seem to be, the college seemed to be shifting in a mode where there's a need to develop revenue streams to generate its own income and to become more and more sustainable. What is that shift in policy, and what is the motivation for the fundraisers and where we are going in that direction?
Well, I think the reality is what faces us. That when we listen to the news, when we listen to government discussion, government policies, and there are so many worthy things to be funded in our community. A lot of things that are worthy to be funded, that deserve to be funded at a level higher than they are. But the reality is the pie is only so big and it can only go so far. So you find that one of the things that the college would have to be doing going forward is to see, and it may even impact government policy. You know, they may have to rethink certain policies to see how is it that the college can generate greater resources based on the activities taking place at the college. The thing that we do most of all, of course, is teach.
Yes.
Right? And as such, our teaching activities, we'll have to rethink that to see how do we earn more from the thing that we do most. In addition to that, there are other resources at the college that we are seeing, but how can we utilize those in order to earn, begin some other revenue streams? Recently, the college's Board of Governors approved a fee for viewing the Maritime Museum at the Marine Center. And early in March, that fee will be introduced. A modest fee of $3 that we would charge mainly to tour buses as they come through, which they do come through right now a lot. So it will be an opportunity to enhance the tourist product by trying our best to improve the experience of individuals coming through on that tour. And it will be an opportunity for us to gain some revenue as a result of providing that experience for them. There are a couple other cultural and environmental resources in the area. We have, of course, the boardwalk, the mangrove boardwalk, which is about 2/3 complete. And we'd want to complete that so that an experience through the boardwalk can be a full loop. And additionally, too, we have
and you have a diversity of marine life.
Marine life in there. A tour through the marine boardwalk can take on the environmental side and understanding the ecosystems there, the role of the mangrove as far as a nursery for young fish, as a buffer for silt from the hillside into the sea. And then there's also the historical aspect, understanding what mangroves meant to life in the Virgin Islands,
yes,
as far as fisheries, as far as shelters, even up to now, shelter from storms, the wood that was also used from there. So
it's frivolous. It might seem used as a playground for children like myself.
Certainly.
Yes.
So it's really. Because when tourists are traveling, sure, they're trying to see, what's your life like? I know what my life is like. So they would love to be able to interact, new environments, but also what's your story? What it was that made you you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But and I have to add to that, Dr. Hlscc, if I may, that the Marine Center and the carpentry and the boat building museum in that center is no pian thing.
No.
As some of my friends like to say, it is. You get a sense of what really went on during that period when our elders built boats that created really important economic development for the territory and sustainability for us as a people. It's immeasurable.
Tremendous means of communication, being able to get between the various islands, and also to know that that boats were being commissioned by shipwrights in the British Virgin Islands for export to other countries.
Yeah. And you got the tools, the handmade tools, and how the whole system was set up. it's something to really
And
to be proud of and
the-
something to show off.
I love when the tourists come through and see it, but you know what I love even more? I love when Virgin Islands come through and they look at the Wall of Fame, the Maritime Wall of Fame that developed there by Mr. Brooks, the curator, and when they say, "Oh, look, so and so,"
Yeah,
or look,
yeah.
you know,
You
I
get-
didn't
you get-
know,
you get to
and
see all
yes,
the-
and
all the
and
persons,
realize that
yeah.
perhaps somebody that you didn't knew or they heard of their community, and it's not just somebody along under the tree. Their picture, the image is up
right
on a
there.
wall at the
It's
college.
yeah.
You know, saying that they did something significant to the development of the territory of the Virgin Islands.
It's an important
Yes.
facility there. Yeah. Now, so we trying to raise money for the college, and the importance of the raising of the money is, of course, to make the college more sustainable and perhaps as less dependent on the central government as possible.
Yeah.
But I think we need to understand, especially since we now have accreditation, the college's role in the community. I'm not sure and not satisfied how much we understand the significance, because for a long time there has been a stigma on Hlscc that somehow is subpar, the education is subpar. So I want to talk about the importance of Hlscc, the accomplishment in terms of student learning outcomes, where our alumni are today, what that college has produced, because I don't think we talk enough about that.
I agree. And I think that and this is one of the focus that we will seek to do even at the dinner, to bring focus to our alumni. A number of companies that, as a matter of fact, some companies that have taken out tables already for the dinner, plan to bring their alumni that are employees within those companies to sort of show them off, really at that event, because at the end of the day, and when I consider the 25 years, it's really about the alumni. There are a number of other things that a college has done through the years, including put on cultural performances that I'm very proud of. But at the end of the day, if it's not about the individuals who have come and whose life have been shaped and enhanced, and who in turn have shaped and enhanced this community, then if it's not about that, it's not about nothing. Now,
That's where the success lies.
that's where the success lies. And when we look around in our community, the thing of it is not everyone wears the Hlscc badge. But when we go from place to place, when we go into the classrooms, we see tons of Hlscc graduates.
You see the teachers.
We see the teachers. When we go down to the hospital now, we
see the nurses and the
nurses
doctors.
and the doctors.
Yeah.
When we go into the courtrooms, we see
The
again
lawyers
the
and
lawyers.
the magistrates.
When you go into the banks, the trust companies, you see a
when you
number
go into
of
the fire station.
When you go into the fire
when
station.
you go into the police force.
When you go into the police force. Now, I will say,
Yes.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
Because I was coming to the end of the line to say, when I look back at the first 25 years of the college, and then I look and say, well, what's the next 25 years going to be? And when I think of the next 25 years, it's saying that, in my view, that some areas that we did not hit hard enough in the first 25 years, we must hit harder in the next 25 years. That, yes, that when the next 25 years, when we come to law enforcement, we must see a greater impact by the college there. And in fact, we have plans, we have not been able to execute them, but for a law enforcement academy that would allow for training of more individuals right here in the British Virgin Islands, and hopefully more British Virgin Islanders will take those opportunities. I would love to see in other areas of industry, construction field.
Industry, yes.
I would love to see a greater impact on
And
our
that has
part.
already
In that
started.
it has started.
Yes.
And I think that there are different routes. There are those persons who may have gone the route of earning an engineering degree, but I would love to see us have our own some associate degrees that lead directly into the construction industry and show another path for developing an upward movement into that field, so that at various levels within the field you will have locally trained persons. I would love to see one of our two of our major industries, tourism, both the onshore and offshore. Again, in the marine area, we have persons that we've trained, but I would love that the story for the next 25 years would really speak to a greater impact as far as the mechanical side as well as the maritime, the sailing side, and management of that sector as well.
Well, we've been talking for a long time. There's been a lengthy conversation over quite a few years now about our need for vocational training
Yes.
for persons in the vocations, whether it's the electricians, plumbers, masons, carpenters, and the whole gamut of persons in the construction industry, but in the auto mechanic field, computer technology, the technical and vocational aspects of the development of our territory. Where are we going as a college, as a community college in those areas? Because I know that we must, as institution serving the human resource needs of the community, must go into some of those areas.
I think as far as those areas are concerned, it's my estimation when I look at globally at post-secondary education. I think that there are some aspects and some systems that are done best. Higher education, postgraduate education, for instance. I think that postgraduate education in the United States of America is really top-notch and has drawn on individuals from all around the world. There's a close nexus between research, higher education, and industry. So there's money flowing into that. When it comes on technical vocational education, I believe some of the European systems have exceeded what's available in America. So you find that the college is now looking to link more with international organizations such as City and Guilds of long standing, because I think that, and myself having been a part of the college for some now 24 years, that we develop a lot of programs along the lines of the associate degree. And that's fine. The associate degree is a construct that says we ought to have a certain amount of general education and then a certain amount of specific program area information, education. I believe that going forward in the next 25 years, the name or the term associate degree for some aspects of our training may not be as important. Not because we don't feel that people need to be generally educated, but the kind of training that's needed for technical and vocational advancement needs to focus more on competency-based training, and as such, a number of the systems that are in place, such as those with City and Guild, focus a lot on that. It's about what skills that you can develop in an individual. What can you show me that you can do? What you can do when you graduate. And it's such an interesting phenomena that it started in the technical vocational area, but it's slipped over into other aspects of education now, because even the guy who is expected to write the articles in the paper, and as a journalist, you want to know, show me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear don't come and tell me about how you can write.
When you come for your interview, you need to bring some writing.
Bring some writing.
Yes.
Or even on the spot, I might ask you to write something. Yeah, to be sure it's authentic.
Yes.
So that's the way that I see higher education, post-secondary, a lot of competency-based, and we will then be seeking to do linking very closely with industry, determining what are the certifications and licenses that are needed in particular fields, because the college wants to be in a position to help to raise the bar in the BVI. And raising the bar sometimes has to do with whether or not various agencies can institute standards within the fields. For instance, in the financial services industry, there's a number of courses that we do with the Financial Services Institute, introductory things in STEP, Society of Trusts and Estate Practitioners, International Compliance Association, and so on. But what building out that number of persons with these qualifications is now going to position the Financial Services Commission to say, in this particular job category, you cannot hold a job unless you possess this type of certification. And it goes from field to field. The more that we are able to develop, for instance, specific training for taxi drivers, which includes history. If you're going to be a tour person, you must know history, geography, flora, fauna, and all of that. The more that we can put that into place through the help of, say, our Virgin Islands Studies Institute working with the Taxi Commission, the more then, at some point, the Taxi Commission will be able to say, you know what, in 3 years, if you're going to get a taxi license to do a tour, you must have this particular certification. And that is what's going to help to raise the bar. Now, I believe the prospectors will go in first and they'll say, look, I'm not waiting for no taxi commission man to tell me I must have these. I'm going to the college now because I want to get ahead of the game, because I want to deliver a better product for the persons
That's
who
right.
I'm going to
It's
serve.
gonna help my business.
That's going to help my business.
help
I'm
my
not waiting
business.
for it to be a regulation.
Yes.
I'm trying to get ahead of the game.
Yes, absolutely. Now, of course, accreditation has put us in a position now where our students, our graduates, have easier access to international education. What do we need from our community? What does Hlscc need from the community for sustainability? What support that we need to give to Hlscc to make sure that all of these things that we are talking about here tonight, that you're talking about here tonight, will be achieved. All these goals will be achieved, and not only will the education standard of Hlscc be realized in terms of accreditation, in terms of what we teach, but the community as a whole, the level of education in the community, in the individuals, in the broader community, will be achieved as well.
I think what we need, and I think what we're trying to do, is to create greater links between the college and the community in a number of ways. In various ways, such as with our advisory committees, trying to ensure that the right persons from the community are there helping to guide what we determine the curriculum to be. I would love, as we said, learn by doing, that we ought to have greater links where there are more internship opportunities for students going into the field. The other thing that I really would love to see out of the community and is a flexibility. When I say a flexibility, is that in terms of I recall when we were linked with the New England Culinary Institute, we would have what they would say learning by doing, and it would say after 2 years, you do not only have 2 years of education, but you have 2 years of experience because you're working at the same time. And I would love to see more opportunities where there's a greater integration between education and work at the same time. Internships, or even
jobs.
Job attachments. And I would really, I think that it calls for a level of commitment, a level of flexibility, where a company may say, I could hire one person to do this job, or I could hire 3 persons to do this job. Yes, it gets it's easier and cleaner to hire one person. But if you had a system where a student is doing a full-time load at the college and is able to do 10 hours with your company, that is to say, at the same time that they're earning their particular degree, they are now at the same time gaining experience, which can only help them. If you look at it like that, then I think that that it's going to be an accelerated mode of development for individuals in the territory. I think that employers in the territory, and a number of them, I applaud them because a number of employers currently support their employees as they pursue their studies. And I think it's good. Some of them support them financially. I think that's excellent. But I think that they also ought to think of that support on 2 levels. There's the support for the individuals who you already employ. But then there's also the need for the support of building the pool of persons who you may eventually employ.
Yes.
Right? So
you get more people to choose from.
Yes.
More human resources to choose from.
Exactly. So that is another means by which individual companies can support the college because you may be, by contributing or associating with a particular program at the college, what you are doing is helping to provide resources for us to do an even better job of educating those young persons so that the pool of persons, the standard and the bar is raised so that when you come to choose an individual for your organization, you rate it from good, better, best. That's you're getting a really good person. Exactly.
And of course, consistent financial contributions from the community, I think is important. I think the community needs to understand it takes money to produce this human resource, to develop this community, to develop the society as a whole, and to support the fundraising events and to make regular donations to the endowment fund.
And really to see it really as an investment.
Yes.
You know, that as far as the legs or the feet of the stool that my company is going to stand on, quality human resources is a key one. And to the extent that which you can partner with the college in ensuring that those resources are available, I think it's a wise decision on the part of a company.
Behind the tyranny of the clock, make a pitch to come to the gala event.
The college has been in this community for 25 years. And if you are listening and you stop and think, I'm sure that you can think of some way that a college has impacted your life, whether it's your life directly, whether it's your child, whether it's your parent, whether it's a business that you've been involved with. And I think that, and I will say it's the cost is $200 per ticket, but that's not even $1. When you consider 25 years, that's not $10 a year even, So I would say that you should seek us out at the college to try to get a ticket for this historical event and come out and you can feel, aside from the excellent food that you'll have, aside from what you'll hear and you'll be able to share and learn about, you will leave there also with the satisfaction that yes, this significant fundraising event for the Hlscc Community College, no one told me about it. I was there. I was there and I did my part to help the institution move forward.
And the investment is well worth it.
Very well worth it, sir.
And they could call...
They can call Miss Yvonne Crabb at 852-7019, 852-7019, or simply call the college, 852-7000, say, trying to get some tickets for the gala.
Yeah.
And we'll fix you up, as we say.
Dr. Dawson, good to see you.
Always good. Always great.
Yes, my brother. Whew. What a night. We had a really good time tonight. Of course, I want to thank brother Dr. Michael Turnbull for stopping by and sharing great information. Brother, another young brother that really gonna make a mark in the territory. The territory is really looking good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and of course, Hlscc with accreditation and 25 years as a young adult, college is going to be really making significant contributions to the territory. We need the support of the community behind what is turning out to be a really substantial institution. Spotlight, of course, is seen every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on JTV Channel 55 and rebroadcast Sundays at 2:30 p.m. You can also watch Spotlight on demand at jtvlive.net, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/SpotlightBVI. Also participate in discussions or issues coming out of our Spotlight. Find out about upcoming events, guests, and suggest topics that you might want to have discussed. I'm Edjuenko reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands and CCT Global Communications.